Just another horrible day. Just another horrible day. So my dog had to do its royal business, whatever. I mean, I'm down for the ride, so whatever she needs, she needs. Either way, I go downstairs and in the lobby, there's just someone milling about. And of course, the elevator opens and it's a woman in the lobby. And I try and rush out of that. And then as soon as I get around the side of the building, there's a woman hiding around the side of the building for some reason. I don't know what's going on there. But I'm sick and tired of it. Like I'm sick and tired of LA doing this to me, LA abusing me. This is wrong. This is torture. This is government torture. So you know what I did? I went to the Department of Justice and I filed a complaint. I already have a complaint with the Human Rights Commission in Geneva, but I'm an American citizen. So I have to use my American civil liberties. I feel like they're being infringed upon because they are being infringed upon. This is cruel and unusual punishment for, I don't know what the fucking problem is with America that they would torture a disabled American veteran, but here it is. I just received the notice that they made an appointment for me for another compensation and pension exam. Only problem is it's once again with a female nurse practitioner. And I specifically said to them, you know what? I have military sexual trauma. Give me a male doctor, give me a male nurse practitioner, give me a male examiner. I don't care, what logistic issues you have. I put it in writing and I said, I'm not going to tolerate having a female doctor after being sexually abused in the military and being constantly sexually harassed and assaulted here in Los Angeles. It's just not going to happen. So here I am. Once again hiding out because I just can't seem to go anywhere and do anything because I live in Los Angeles and I made a mistake coming here. I'm not upset that I met my service animal and my service animal and I have been together for quite a few years, training her, and she's amazing. I really do wish that while I was running away from the women hiding out on the side of my building, she didn't kick my belt to cause my pants to fall down. I don't know what trick that is, but that's kind of amazing. Because I had to lift her rather than just drag her across the street away from some creepy woman on the side of the building. Did I say hello, Corn? I don't know. I'm just really frazzled right now. Hello, Mac. LA can be a lonely city. LA isn't a lonely city. I mean, if anything, I've seen people who are just too goddamn friendly. And I like being alone. I'm the one person who likes being alone. I like my solitude. What I don't like is constantly having women shoved on me because I've been sexually abused in the military. I don't want women anywhere fucking near me. I used to give the women of LA the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what? Master Sergeant Miranda of the United States Air Force was the one who sexually abused me. You did not. But you know what? LA's onto some fucking creepy shit because they would rather sexually assault me on the Long Beach bus line. They would rather sexually harass me by having crazy women try and jump me and lunge at me on the Metro bus line And this whole thing of everywhere I go, a woman is just popping out toward me. I mean, I could say that's just really shitty timing, but I don't think so. I live in LA. Cinema magic, my ass. You people bug the fucking... I don't know. It seems as if they're having tip-offs of when I go outside. And if it's not coming from me, it must be coming from the apartment itself, which, by the way, is such a huge invasion of privacy there. But it's LA, they'll just do this and do this and do this until the only refuge you have is to join those stupid little movies and stupid little television shows, because you say, at least if you're on set, everything is documented and you should feel safer and you have a little bit more money. So when you do take a holiday, you take a holiday. But you never get to take a fucking holiday when you're a celebrity. You never do. Never. Because every time you take a holiday as a celebrity, it's, hey, isn't that person from that show over there? Oh, they're eating lunch, they're eating dinner. No, I will never live this down. I love the movie The 13th Floor. I adore Craig Pilgo. I believe that's what his name was. He was trying to have dinner with a friend, and me being a dumbass, I walk up to him while he's having a meal and I tell him, I love you in the 13th floor. He looked at me as if I had grown antennae and horns and was an insect. And now I 100% get it. I 100% get it. I don't want to be in that business, because if I'm eating in public, I want to fucking eat. I'm looking for fucking food, not conversation. All right. Mac, thank you so much for the prayers. What do you do for work? I don't work. I'm a disabled American veteran. So all I concentrate right now is on my art therapy. That's it. I have art therapy, I do other therapeutic things, and I just concentrate on therapy. Therapy, therapy, therapy. That's all I can do. Because I've been trying to get my disability, if I had my compensation for disability, I could say, you know what? There's a common denominator with all these incidents that I'm talking about, me. If I wasn't living in LA, if I lived in my own fucking house in some other place outside of California altogether, I could make different decisions. I could make the decision to have a house and say, I locked my door. Guess what? Nobody has to come to my house unless they're dropping a package. And if they're coming to drop a package, they can drop it at the far end of my property. They don't have to come to my door. They don't have to ring my doorbell. They don't have to step foot on my front porch whatsoever. That's what I want. But apparently, America has been holding up my disability because I have an accent and because obviously my parents were immigrants. So here I am in this situation where I don't have the money to move. I don't have the money to just spend on a house so I can say, you know what? I can't do neighbors. I can't do neighbors. Because right now I live with neighbors who, I don't know if it's drugs, and yeah, I'm calling you people out. I don't know if it's drugs or just someone is slinging some really good dick. But women show up here all the fucking time. Now, there are some women who actually live here. Like, I have a female elderly neighbor recently, whatever. Like, I don't have too much of a problem with it. It kind of freaks me out. But I have to say to myself, you know what? She owns that part of the building. Her apartment is her apartment. My apartment is my apartment. We don't have to be in the same hallway. We don't have to be in the same lobby. We don't have to be in any of it. I just want to be by myself. Paige, I'm going to read your comment. Taking care of yourself is probably the most important job you can have. I know the VA for America is terrible and so hard to get support. Wishing you nothing but the best and hope you can have peace. Thank you so much for saying that. Spears, artists, bro, I just wish you the best. You should have gotten some well-deserved support that you deserve, bro. You deserve to have a quiet, nice place after what you've been through. After being sexually abused in the military, everything has changed. I have a hard time being in the same area as a woman. I have a hard time speaking to women, let alone I'm bisexual. I am still attracted to women, but I'm not attracted to any of this situation. This situation just removes the sexuality out of it whatsoever. It is not sexually stimulating to have a woman on a bus reach over and fondle your genitals and you scream, and then you have people on that bus look at you like you're a fucking crazy person. Like a crazy person would just say, you know what? Thank you for fondling my genitals. They needed a good tug. No, you fucking cunt. Keep your fucking hands to yourself. So yeah, I'm that screaming veteran. I'm a screaming veteran because that's what the response should be. Because if I cold cocked Granny for trucking, for fucking grabbing my genitals, I would go to jail for that. Because it could be, well, you didn't have to go that far. She just fondled you. She groped you. You're a man, you know, you're handsome, you know, were you asking for it? Because, you know, you look nice. You know, maybe if you were a little bit more ugly, they wouldn't bother you. That's the attitude that these LA people have. So, no. Instead of being a rational person and dealing with all of this, you get the screaming veteran. You get the screaming veteran who has to run through the streets, run away from these women. Because it's just, look, maybe it's because I know I've seen celebrities on television and movie and, you know, cinema, movie. One movie, there's just one movie out. Oh my God. I cannot speak. I'm so angry right now. I'm so frustrated. Thank you, Spears. And this frustration is just growing and growing and growing because, I mean, what can you really do? I go to my VA and I say, hey, I have PTSD. My doctors say I have PTSD. You say I have PTSD. My current disability status is currently saying I have PTSD, severe PTSD. But for them, it's, can we just keep traumatizing you? I know you're traumatized already, but could we traumatize you again? And it's, no, you cannot fucking traumatize me again. You've traumatized me already. Do you have a favorite movie? I do. It's Till There Was You. It's this lovely movie with Sarah Jessica Parker, and I think Saffron Burrows is in it, and maybe Dylan McDermott, I think. But it's all about this situation where you're in relationships and you think it's special, and you're just holding a space open. You think because you're in a relationship with someone that you're truly in a relationship with them, and it's, no, you're holding a space in your heart where you know the right person is there, because the whole movie is about Dylan McDermott and Saffron Burrows constantly bumping into each other, constantly having a good rapport, but she goes back to what she's doing, and then, you know, Dylan McDermott is dating Sarah Jessica Parker, and Sarah Jessica Parker, beautiful woman, great actress, love her, but kind of a bitch in this. and doesn't really care what he has to say, doesn't really care about him at all. And also, they're just not in love. There's just no spark. And I love this film because it tells you this story of, if you know that there is someone out there for you, don't put up with bullshit. Do not put up with nonsense. And it's a hard lesson because I have dated like maybe 2 people that I could say, I will spend the rest of my life with you. Obviously, I didn't say that. But I regret that because the people that I ended up dating afterwards, mean, abusive, try to get me addicted to drugs, you know, just alcoholics, losers. And it's all because I don't value myself enough. When you have something like PTSD, you say, no one will love you. No one will care about you. It's hard to be next to someone who is constantly screaming all the time. I mean, I think about my last relationship that I had, and there was love there. There was love there. But I won't put up with anyone who yells at me, criticizes me for my beauty, says my hair is too curly, stupid shit like that, and then wants me to show up for them at all times without being kind to me in return. Paige, I highly recommend that movie, Till There Was You. And the music is beautiful, and like I say, everyone is brilliant in that film, and it's one of those examples of just a good script, good actors, the right director, and it's wonderful. Leeching people always want to bring you down with them. Absolutely the case. I remember when I was walking with the guy I was seeing, and you know, he kept telling me he was going to quit drugs, quit smoking, and I'm walking with him, and after he had just said, I'm quitting cigarettes, I'm quitting, he reaches down onto the ground and picks one up that was already used and it's been stepped on and dogs have pissed on, and he puts it to his lips and he strikes a lighter, and he's just puffing away. And when I tell him, you just told me you were going to quit, he yelled at me. So I had to break up with him, and I haven't really been able to find anyone since who could put up with my own issues, because I'm not saying I'm perfect. I would go to a store with him, and thank you so much, Paige, for coming by. Thank you, Spears, for coming by. Please like, subscribe, check out my description. I do a lot of human rights outreach. Change.org/Kentucky needs you. There is a Senate Bill 89, which is allowing more contamination into the water supply for many rural communities. Change.org/Kentucky needs you is an important petition to fight against that, to protect all American civil liberties toward clean, fresh water. You have the right to have access to fresh, clean water in America. Do not turn away from Kentucky. They need you. So please consider that petition. Spears, you know, I I've been hurt by America terribly, terribly. But I live here, I have family that lives here, I have perfect strangers that live beside me, and guess what? I'm still gonna fight for their right to fresh, clean water. It doesn't matter if they're good people, I'm a good person, and that's enough for me. So when I hear that Eastern Kentucky is fighting this in such small numbers, because these people in the rural community, they're not hopping on Twitter. They don't, I'm sorry, how old am I? Hopping on X, hopping on Meta, hopping on Instagram to talk about this. They're just saying, well, the sun is up, I'm gonna do what I do, and that's it. That's not good enough. Sometimes you just need someone to step up for you and say, this is my fight too. So I am fighting for Eastern Kentucky by constantly doing music, constantly putting myself out there, even though I really don't want to. I would rather just be a private citizen, but somebody has to speak up for Eastern Kentucky, and somebody has to speak up for Los Angeles. As much as I slam that fucking city for all the shit that they fucking pull on me, does that mean that they deserve to have 5 forest fires? Does that mean that they deserve to have transgender hate crimes? No, I don't think so. So I do everything in my power to speak up about that. And you can look at all of my petitions. I have a petition in there to start a new specialized task force designed for these forest fires, because you can't expect an LA fire department firemen to go and fight this when they're trained for house fires. They're not trained for forest fires. Why should they risk their lives for that? Get people who are actually trained in it, get the right technology for it, and if anything, start reducing the carbon emissions, so this way we don't have such hot temperatures drying out those trees, making them a fire hazard. It's something to think about. It's in the description, you just have to keep scrolling through. Sometimes you just have to take a second and take some deep breaths and just think of a better life. And the most important thing is to remember that I joined the military because I'm a fighter. I didn't join the military just for the accolades that I would get from it. I always knew that there was a hero in me. I always knew that I was the type of person who would stand up to injustice, to protect American people. Even when they're really shitty people, I still protect them, because maybe next generation of them, they might be cool. Being a loser doesn't have to be a generational curse. And every generation that comes down the line just seems to be a little bit more woke. And this is the time to fight, because things are getting dark in America. And I'm not talking about my military sexual trauma here. I'm talking about social media itself. Social media is becoming such an integral part of our lives. We depend on it for everything. And it's warping us, it's manipulating us. It's also isolating us, because I admit it, I'm in a committed relationship with my fucking cell phone. I fuck the fuck out of my fucking cell phone. That is where things are now, because I can't relate to people. So that is who I spend my time with. I spend my time with electronic gadgets instead of talking to people. And that's sad because that's how most people are living. But they're not using that to reintegrate back into life. Where is America 2.0? Where is the next evolution of American society? Because we have the technology, we have a certain level of affluence. When people are poor here, they're poor, but not really poor. They're poor with cell phones, they're poor with food, they're poor with most likely water and healthcare. They talk about universal healthcare, but I mean, unless, something has gone incredibly amiss, for the most part, if you need emergency care, you'll get emergency care. There's always something that kind of covers that in most states, in most cities, in most areas. I'm from the EU and I can totally sense that things are changing over there, but here people are also shoving phones in their babies' faces. That is something that I totally disagree with, because how is it that after so many successful generations of understanding how to raise children, even though you may not get lessons there yourself, but you figure it out, the response to your baby crying is shut the fuck up. Stare at this screen and shut the fuck up. Because that is what parents tell their kids when they shove a little iPad in their face or an Android tablet and say, play some games, or here's your wild and wacky children's show. Do that so you can stop making noise. Instead of saying, well, maybe your baby's crying because they're cold. Maybe your baby's crying because they're hungry. Maybe they're crying because, they use the bathroom and you have a shitty fucking nose and can't smell that they need a change. Or maybe they just want your fucking attention because they love you and they're trying to form a bond with something that they're going to be with for 18 years or longer. And I'm angry about that. I'm angry because the United States Air Force robbed me of my ability to relate to women. So I don't have a wife and my kids, my own kids, that I would raise in love and cherish them and protect them from this bad world that's out there. Because I would be an active parent. I wouldn't be someone who says, put this in front of your kid's face and just ignore it. And maybe it's because, I've had opportunities to work with animals, and I've just learned empathy because I've always had animal companions growing up. It's just who I am as a person, and I think it's a generational thing because my father had squirrels and possums and just a slew of dogs, and it's always been within us to speak to animals. And I'm Native American, First Nation, hello. So to me, that just makes sense. And animals are super intelligent, super intelligent. If you want to have a conversation with an animal, chances are they'll have a conversation with you back. They won't exactly talk about political issues, but they can talk about things relating to emotional intelligence. My dog can tell me when I have a PTSD episode when I don't recognize that I have a PTSD episode. She can tell me when I need to remove myself from a situation because I feel too uncomfortable. And thank you for the support, Spears, because I know that I'm going to find a wonderful wife at some point, but I have to get some medical help, and I'm not going to marry some American woman because I don't want my kids to grow up in this misery. And you should love animals. Animals are awesome. I just saw a YouTube video of a beluga whale singing and beatboxing. it's a cute little clip. I'll probably add it retroactively to this podcast so that you can see it later. But either way, when I saw that video, I just reminded myself of how beautiful and intelligent animals are on this planet, and that there's a whole world out there that we're just missing out on. We're missing out on animals, we're missing out on plants. For some reason, when you move to cities, they hate trees, they hate forests. So they push it to the furthest edge of their cities. They don't think, it might be nice to have a tree in the middle of the town. It might be nice to just have the cars move around it. The tree was here first. If you want to be territorial about it, trees were here before we were here. I agree. Animals are wonderful to have, and you should cherish every single moment of them. Spears, there's something going on there that human happiness is not something we talk about. We talk about, are you depressed, but we don't talk about what makes you happy. And sometimes for some people, deep down, they're just not who they're being led to be. Because you're told that when you live in a city, you're supposed to behave a certain way, act a certain way. I don't agree with that. First Nation, First Peoples, Native American, I live my life as I see fit. I am a wild, savage person, and I love being that. I love speaking to animals. I love just bathing in the beautiful energy of a tree. I mean, before my PTSD was really, really bad, I would actually go to the park and just sit down and meditate. Because it's good to be near nature, in nature, part of something. It's not healthy to spend all your time staring at screens. And I say this as a person doing a podcast right now. But after this podcast, just remind yourself that if you have the ability to go to the park or to plant your own little garden or even start an indoor garden, do that, because you're making an ecosystem that you can be a part of. I grew up in the city, now I've moved due to life circumstances, and being near nature is very healing. I 100% agree. I've gotten into a rhythm with the trees and plants that I have in my flat. It's a little weird, but I don't exactly talk to my trees, but I know when they need water. I know when they need a little bit more sun and when they need to take a break from the sun. It's just what we have inside of us, a great capacity for environmental empathy, understanding that there's an ecology, there's a system there, and that you're a part of it. It's not just there's a plant in a corner there, no, that's your partner. Because when you breathe out carbon dioxide, that plant takes that and gives you back oxygen and water. It loves you. Plants and trees love humans. Absolutely love them. Because they breathe life right into you. Something to think about when you are cultivating a safe space for yourself. Not that this apartment in any way is a safe space. But I do have a door. There's a lock on it. And I have the right to say, no, you cannot come into my building without my permission. And by building, I mean just my apartment, because I really can't control the lobby. And I don't understand why the United States just can't give me my own house so I can say, there is no fucking lobby. There is no sitting room. There is a house for me, and then the rest of it is yours. The rest of the city, the rest of the state, the rest of the country is yours. Give me my own personal space. I bought lots of flower seeds for the butterflies this year. Have you seen the video looking into the way that plants talk? It's an incredible discovery outfit. I'm glad that you brought that up, because I have watched several videos about plants communication, and not just the spores and that kind of thing. They can actually hear when leaves are being chewed upon, and then they think and ponder upon it. Plants are alive. There's a reason why you eat them. You don't eat a plant thinking that it's a rock. You eat a plant because it's living. Even when it's a frozen vegetable, it's still alive, which is what I don't think people understand. You are eating life. Not only life, but you're eating intelligent life. You're not eating bacteria, you're eating a multicellular organism who stood the test of time. Respect that. Really, really respect that. But congratulations on the seeds. You'll probably have a beautiful little garden for yourself. If you can imagine it, then it probably is. If you have a plant long enough, you will get into a rhythm with it. You really will, because you think that you can turn off the genes that make you react to plants and, energy and magnetic fields and things like that. You don't. It's not a gene you can turn off. It's who you are inside. Which is why Wi-Fi signals and cellular technology, it's kind of problematic, because we don't understand the true effects of it. I mean, I talk to Clint all the time, and he talks about his mental difficulties, and I wonder whether or not technology itself is making it slightly worse. In his case, I don't know, but it almost feels like his brain opened up a doorway to something and he doesn't know how to shut it. Yeah, I'm trying to help the biodiversity as much as I can now. So am I. I'm trying to find that one girl, one woman who will sweep me off my feet and I sweep her off her feet, and we'll fall madly in love and we'll have tons of little babies. But I'm stuck here in America with these super horned up women who always want to be near me and grope me and fondle me, and I'm not cool with that. I mean, there's a certain level of sexual aggression which is fine, but only if it's reciprocated, only with your consent. Nobody likes a fucking creep, and LA has just been creepy. So yeah, I've got to find a new city, a new state, a new country perhaps. I have new music coming out. My beard tickles, I'm sorry. I want to shave my beard. I grew the beard to try and put women off, because I said, look, women don't really find facial hair that attractive. Men do. But women don't really find that attractive. So anything to make me look unattractive, but nope. If they're determined to to grope or fondle a person, they're just going to do it to the next person. They don't give a shit here in LA. They really don't. This is the city that I live in. A city that sees a disabled American veteran and thinks that they should fondle their genitals in public and pretty much sexually assault them. I'm not going to say pretty much. It was sexually assault. I was sexually assaulted by a woman on the Long Beach bus after being sexually abused by the United States Air Force Master Sergeant Miranda. I have thought it through, I really have, and I'm just a little tired of American bullshit. I really am, and I'm not saying Canada is any better because they're fighting their own battles there. And as much as we think about Canada as this environmentalist, just haven, it isn't. There's still plenty of people who are still holding on to coal and nuclear power in 2025. But the one difference between Canada and the United States is climate. Climate is still changing in every part of the world, but in Canada, they have something called winter. And the winters are brutal, absolutely brutal. To the point that the Canadian people have to say, fuck it, nature wins. They built their little settlements, their little cities, their little villages, but they don't go above a certain point. So the trees fucking get to win. The animals get to win. I love that. Because Canada has more people coming in every single day. They have refugees like me who are going to be showing up there soon. They don't have a ton of space, but guess what? It is too cold for them to chop down every fucking tree to build a new city. Hi, Clint. I'm not well. I'm not. So when I went outside, I actually had a note on my door from the new resident advisor to my building. And she said, can you come by to the office so I can take photos of you? No, I will not be doing that. And because she said it in that way, with a smiley face and everything, like everything is okay, I gave her a very curt email, and I CC'd my lawyer because I said, you know what? My lawyer needs to be aware of what I'm dealing with on a constant basis. Every single one of these attacks, every single one of these intrusions upon me, I want my lawyer to say verbatim, my client is being harassed at every single turn. They have PTSD already, but then they have to deal with real harassment and not just the imagined harassment. Because I understand with my PTSD, I see every woman as a potential rapist. That's just how my brain operates at this time. But then there are actual women who rape, and there are actual women who sexually assault. There are women who sexually assaulted me. Thank you, Clint, for coming into the channel. That is lovely. Canada was my first thought since it's closer to you. The other thought was Mexico. Which which, by the way, Mexico is really good with environmentalism. Not so good with drug cartels, but very good with environmentalism. Better than the United States. So there's something to be said there. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's super odd because the VA essentially moved me onto a reservation without giving me the latitude to actually be a part of a tribe. But I live on a reservation. I live in an area surrounded by brown people just like me. But they're not like me because, for one, I am Brazilian, not Latino. I guess in some cases that can be very confusing to people, but no, Brazilian. And then on top of that, I'm actually Native American First Nation, not just some rehash of the last 300 years. No, my people go beyond that. And I live my life beyond that. So I'm not interested in any of the stuff that's going on here. But I am grateful because this is the one town, the one area that celebrated Azteca New Year. So I actually got to be with my tribe. And it felt good. It felt absolutely good. So that's a good thing. Except once my tribe left the area, I was stuck with the same people who punch, kick, and call me a faggot for wearing things that I'm sorry, but not sorry. That's how my people wore them. My people were Native Americans, First Nation, First People. They weren't Europeans, except apparently some of my family, which is why I still have red patches in my hair. We could always try Australia. What do you want him to get ready for? Martian civilization? The Australian outback wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm an environmentalist and I build biomes, and I would be able to handle the Australian outback. I actually saw a little flash on Reddit that there was a Mars terraforming program in 2024, but they cancelled it because they couldn't deal with the radiation. And all I can say is, because you were using the wrong technology, because you were thinking about it in the wrong way. Humans are extremely squishy people. You put the squishy people behind lead shields. You let robots do the rest. And you think on that and it'll make a lot more sense. Francisco, hello, how are you? I'm sorry to just be all wrapped up in me. I hope you're doing all right, because I'm having a hard time. And Clint, it is way past your bedtime. How you doing, Ann? How you doing, man? I'm so hurt right now. I'm so hurt because all I need is my disability benefits so I could just live by myself. I want to be able to just say, you crazy bitch hanging out on the side of the building looking like you're going to jump me. Just keep doing what you're doing, you crazy bitch. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to live in a house, but, if you want to just pop your head out from the side of the building and look like you're going to jump me, fine, go ahead, do that. But I'm going to live in a house, and therefore you can have this shitty fucking apartment building if that's what you want to do. But instead of that, I'm just stuck here. I'm really just stuck here. And I really don't want to go to this C&P exam. I really don't. Because if I go in this exam, it's not like I can walk there. Oh, no. So I have to hop on public transportation, which I know is an issue, to go to an appointment with a woman who I know is going to be a problem for me. I don't want to do this. I really don't. It's a violation. It's just a violation. So I'm not. I am gonna buy my plane ticket and I guess I'm moving to Canada while it's still summer, because I need to secure some refugee housing now, because winters there are super brutal and you cannot be roaming the streets, skipping down the streets. This is why I'm upset. I'm upset because I moved to California because even with all my hurt from PTSD, I have rare moments where I like to sing, I like to dance. I like to skip down the street and just think for a second, I'm okay. But they rob that of me every single time they pull stunts like this. I haven't even done a single singing party with any of you because every day I'm too depressed. I'm so depressed right now that my service animal is concerned about me because I cannot get out of bed. And I don't want to. I don't. It's something to think about. I wish LA wasn't like this. I wish LA could respect me enough to just say, we get it. Here's your disability benefits, and here's some time to maybe meet California on different terms. Meet California from a position as a team leader for environmental projects here in California. I would love that. I would love the opportunity to just be a team leader for city cleanups and solar power initiatives here. I would love that opportunity, but I can't do that when I'm dealing with such severe PTSD and such real fear of being raped all the time. And it's justifiable fear. Clint, I appreciate that. You are such a kind, decent person, but the burden is not on you. It's not on you. It's the government, which is you came a little late to the. Not that I'm mad. Not that I'm mad. You have a life too, man. But I did say in the beginning that I made a complaint to the Department of Justice about my civil liberties, because this is a VA housing project, and I made it very clear in all my files, in every single document, and every single predecessor who was supposed to take notes and then relay that I have military sexual trauma. So this whole idea of I'm new here and I don't know how things work, smiley face, it's just like, no. It says that I have military sexual trauma. What the fuck do you think that means with you coming to my door, knocking on my door, and then asking to take pictures with me? No, that's not happening. No, not happening. Absolutely. So So yeah, it's I'm an American citizen. If my civil liberties are infringed upon, it's a legal case. And the Department of Justice has to investigate. The FBI didn't want to investigate when I said, hey, there's something seriously fucked up about this apartment building, because I've had women try to break into my apartment. I've had women constantly harassing me, sneaking into the building, and in recent, just defacing the area in front of my door by being in front of my door. But that's neither here nor there. It's a legal matter. Clint, thank you so much, but this is for the lawyers to duke it out. I can only do so much, you can only do so much. There's a reason why we have a legal system in America. We can talk about oppression and the dictatorship that this country has become, but it's still within the scope of America to seek justice against abuse of the handicapped. And that's what's going to happen. So thank you everyone for coming by. I'm going to call it there. I will see you on the next podcast. Thank you everyone for coming.